Hey folks, MasakoX here. I would like to point you all to my newly refreshed Patreon at patreon.com/MasakoX, just to make sure the channel can keep on chugging along. Thank you very much for your time, and let's get on to the story. The man, the being, the demon was standing before our three traveling friends. Despite him being quite old and decrepit, he was exerting a threatening power. Both Yajirobe and Tarble could feel that, but Goku seemed very adamant and stood in his fighting pose.
You're the one behind all of this! You're responsible for Krillin's death!
There was fire in the boy's eyes, which worried his two traveling companions quite immensely. But still, Tarble stood by his new friend's side, with Yajirobe not chiming in. Yet, although he almost felt that something he was wearing on his neck kept getting heavier and heavier within the presence of this entity, he couldn't explain it. Meanwhile, Piccolo looked at Goku, hearing his declaration and short, fiery speech. The green lip crooked into a creepy smile as he gazed upon the boy and said, "Who the hell is Krillin? I don't remember every piece of scum that died upon my orders." This was enough to launch Goku toward the old man. With a bloodthirsty shout, Tarble tried to stop him, but it was too late. All the reason of his had been thrown out the window. But surprisingly, the young Saiyan charge did have an effect, as it pinned down the terrifying Demon King. Or so it would seem, as with an even wider smile, King Piccolo stood up, throwing Goku down with ease as he removed his cloak, presenting a dark blue gi. When both the Saiyans tried to get closer, King Piccolo then did something unexpected. A fiery aura started to dance around him, which blocked the way between Tarble and Goku and himself. They could feel the power rising in the air as the temperature around the demon suddenly rose. Goku was slowly realizing that he had bitten off more than he could chew, as this time it was King Piccolo that moved toward them with a lightning speed and started to attack both of them with little effort. The boys tried to defend against this flurry of blows, but every time they tried, their hits landed with devastating power. It was hard to really terrify Yajirobe, but this, honestly, the Ronin was in terror in how his new bodies were starting to be destroyed by this powerful new enemy. When the two of them tried to get a distance over the Demon King, he simply blasted off finger gun after finger gun, which followed them and left plenty of scorch marks in their wake. While the boys were showing signs of exhaustion, King Piccolo did not seem to be affected by the length of their encounter at all. Goku, however, was still determined.
Even against such an opponent, he wasn't showing any fear,
Tarble thought, realizing how much the death of Krillin had affected his new friend. But the Crane School pupil was slowly beginning to understand how futile their defiance was.
All right, you wanted this? Then here we go!
Goku gained a distance and put both of his palms at his side, starting to charge an attack. There was a sign of amused recognition in King Piccolo's eyes as he stopped moving, waiting for what was to come.
Goku,
he doesn't seem to be, Tarble started, but his fellow Saiyan friend was overly focused.
Nay!
He continued.
Nay!
King Piccolo was overjoyed by this. So, this is how the far legacy of his enemies had fallen down. Good! As Goku screamed the final "Ha!" he waited to embrace the blue light of the beam. And as the bright flash dissipated, as the dust settled, Goku realized the old man was standing right by him. Not even a scratch.
Impossible!
The word drowned in his throat as it was caught, and his whole stature was lifted by the green-clawed hand, and then used as a blunt weapon to strike Tarble. Goku tried to free himself from this grasp, but despite his age and seemingly skinny shape, the Demon King was simply too strong for him. And for the first time in his life, Goku felt a sense of fear because of this fact. His opponent was cruel and was clearly enjoying this as he kept attacking and making him collide with the trees around, the rocks, and the ground itself. Tarble tried to liberate Goku from his opponent's grasp, but unsuccessfully. He was less of a threat than the annoying insect. Meanwhile, his captured friend was trying to free himself still, but every attack was sapping away at his strength. His face had met multiple times with the knee of Piccolo or a sharp rock, and he slowly began to lose consciousness. Soon enough, he was like a rag doll, kept only by his tail, and without any energy to fight back. It was a sad sight to behold.
All right, I've had my fun. Now you, hiding over there, listen carefully.
King Piccolo grinned, making Yajirobe turn pale with terror, and almost caused him to retreat over to the forest and abandon Tarble and Goku.
I know what you have over there, and if you won't give it to me, I will flay your friend and proceed to kill the other one. It will all be down on you.
He gazed upon Tarble, who defiantly tried to stand his ground.
Whatever this is, Yajirobe,
Don't give him anything! The young Saiyan turned his head toward the bush, but a kick from Piccolo caused him to contort and fall to the ground.
I am not bluffing.
The demon chuckled menacingly, charging an attack toward an unconscious Goku. The Ronin took some deep breaths, then took a few steps out of the bushes.
All right, you won. Just let it go.
He was holding a round object with a star on it. A Dragon Ball. Tarble was shocked. Yajirobe had one all along? But Goku had a radar. Wait, did he know? He never pressed their traveling companion to give it to them.
Good. First give me the ball, and I will let the boy go.
Piccolo's smile demonstrated his sharp teeth. Unwillingly, the Ronin cooperated, and as the villain was examining the orb in his palm, there was a weird hunger in his gaze. As he regained something that he felt was rightfully his, Tarble used the moment of this temporary distraction to grab Goku from his grasp, which only left a tattered piece of cloth in his claws in its wake. This was a mild surprise to Piccolo, as he almost decided to give them a bit of a head start, but he merely decided to send one finger bolt in their direction to obliterate part of the forest. They didn't stand a chance against him, and once he gathered the full set, any source of threat from them would have disappeared completely. As he grabbed his abandoned cloak, he decided to leave. Piano must have been losing his mind back at base, and as much as he enjoyed seeing his son squirm from time to time, he needed his mind sharp and focused right now. Meanwhile, Tarble was holding Goku, dodging the splinters from exploding trees, trying to aid Yajirobe with trying to dodge some of the refuse. They resorted to hiding in an abandoned hovel of some animal. They didn't know what, they didn't care. They were breathing heavily, tired of the chase.
Is he gone?
Yajirobe uttered finally. He was in good physical condition, but naturally, he was quite winded due to, well, running being exhausting given his stature.
Yeah, it seems so. You had a Dragon Ball, it seemed. All this time?
I didn't know what it was. This is what they were called? The Ronin asked. Wait, how's Goku?
Well, we were trying to stop those bad guys from getting any more. I have still some senzu beans.
And as he said that, he managed to feed his friend with one and he took the other. They quickly regained their strength, with Goku feeling devastated by the fact that King Piccolo had taken Yajirobe's Dragon Ball.
I thought it was safe with you, he revealed. I don't blame you, but we need to press on. We need to get to that Ultra Divine Water. Without it, we will not stand a chance against that demon.
Tarble could really see that Goku was incredibly bummed out about yet another defeat, and he placed a hand on his shoulder.
Hey, don't you worry. We'll get that water, Goku. And we're going to beat that monster and avenge Krillin. You'll see.
I don't know if you can.
Yajirobe looked away, sounding very morose.
Huh? What do you mean?
Tarble had shown signs of slight irritation with that word.
All right, so you two clearly haven't heard the tale of King Piccolo. I have, and allow me to tell you, and you'll understand why I'm not exactly thrilled with your desire to kill him.
Master Roshi was regretting that he had to do this, as he had 2 Dragon Balls with him already. He knew that luring King Piccolo out was the only option he had left. It was his holy duty, a promise he'd made all these years ago to Master Mutaito, And yet, he didn't want Tenshinhan to risk his own life. No, that's why he ordered Chiaotsu to paralyze him. This boy was over in his head if he thought that he could have faced this monster on his own. Soon enough, he had appeared. The lure worked, although much to the distaste of Roshi. The Demon King started their encounter by swallowing 2 Dragon Balls. Then, he looked at his opponent with mild curiosity.
A lone man bringing me 2 Dragon Balls. That is very curious, he chuckled,
clearly amused by Roshi's defiance and gesture.
This lone old man still has some tricks up his sleeve, demon.
Roshi stood in his battle pose ready for the fight. King Piccolo decided to give him one, as he charged toward him, clawing, kicking, hitting. Roshi was able to block some of those attacks, but he didn't seem all that bothered.
You haven't changed at all since the last time we met, demon. Oh, am I supposed to remember you, pitiful human? You seem old, and I've killed a lot of your kind, you see, so forgive me for not exactly being at my best of recollection.
He grinned, Piccolo, showing his proud set of dagger-sharp teeth.
You might not remember me, but you might remember my master, Mutaito.
And with that, King Piccolo froze for a moment. Mutaito. That blasted old man was... In a very swift move, Roshi threw down a small capsule, and from it came the damned electric rice cooker, this causing the demon to go berserk. And once that happened, Roshi started an all too well-known incantation.
No, this could not end like this, not again. King Piccolo would not allow this to happen. This is the evil containment wave. It defeated you once, and it will do so again.
A vortex of green energy started to pull King Piccolo toward it, as his expression changed from mild concern to abject fear. He used all of his might to avoid this fate. He wouldn't go back in there, not a chance! This was a horrifying struggle, watched by the paralyzed Tenshinhan and Chiaotsu, who had accompanied him, watching this from afar. Both the Crane School students were praying inside that Roshi would succeed, but alas, he didn't. As despite all that he had done, the Turtle Hermit barely missed King Piccolo, and once that threat was gone, Roshi could not muster up another one. He unleashed the demon the full power of his fury against the old man, shattering the rice cooker and then getting the old man into an absolute beatdown, the barbaric strength, full of demonic anger. He was unable to defend against the struggle, Roshi, but in all of his cruelty, the Demon King wasn't yet ready to end his life, not yet. He wanted this blasted Mutaito demon impersonator to plead for his life.
Are you tired yet, old man? You thought you could imprison me? You dared to try this pathetic sorcery on me? On the Demon King? Well, you failed, and so fails the legacy of your master. I am so close to my triumph, and everyone you know and love will pay for your failure. You haven't won.
Roshi coughed out some blood.
Your dark dreams will never come true. Somehow someone will succeed where I failed, and until that day, live in fear. You will fall. We're only human, but we will survive. We will survive. Oh? Do you mean the boys with the monkey tails by chance? One of them using your own technique?
Roshi said nothing in reply, but his already pale face grew even paler.
They were pathetic.
Piccolo ended this chat, and everyone could hear a loud cracking noise. Chiaotsu and Tenshinhan realized that it was over. Master Roshi was dead, and the Demon King was free to take up the remaining Dragon Balls for himself. With the aid of E-ARTH and his underlings, it was no longer a challenge. He didn't know, however, that he was followed by the 2 Crane School students. They knew that they would have to stop him from getting a wish. They had to, whatever it was.
And that's what I know,
Yajirobe ended telling the story, looking at his traveling friend. So, he is up for revenge? But how? How is he free? Tarble was looking at Goku for answers.
I don't know, but it sounds like martial artists have defeated him in the past, so we can do it again. He can be beaten!
The shortest of the group had regained some sense of hope in their mission.
We need to keep traveling if we want to have a chance.
But
if we fail, he was toying with you, Goku.
The Ronin also seemed unconvinced. All of his smarm had evaporated the moment he felt powerless against King Piccolo.
Well, at least we go down fighting. We don't have much choice in that, do we?
Tarble looked at his rotund friend. You don't have to go with us, you know. You've already aided us a whole lot. I understand if you wish to flee. There was a moment of silence where Yajirobe was really tempted to leave, go his own way, but there was that annoying feeling deep in his stomach, and this was not hunger, my friend. It was guilt.
All right, I'll go with you, jeez. You two are gonna get lost without my help.
Thanks, Yajirobe. You're a pal.
Goku smiled widely when the Ronin started to make some grumpy noises of assent. Their travel was rather long and exhausting, and on the way, Goku noticed that all the signals from the Dragon Radar had disappeared. Something bad must have happened for sure if that were to happen. But they didn't have any time to think about it anymore. Their hope, their only hope, was to reach the Cave of Darkness, where Korin had told them that the ultra-divine water was stored. Their travels took them up some very icy wastelands, and the climate had started to really get to them.
You know, you told us about this old divine water with Korin, right? That was really a dud. You think this is the same case, Goku? That getting here is the training that will really increase all of our power?
Tarble was also wondering this, as the two lessons felt slightly contradictory in his own mind, as Yajirobe was speaking.
I hope not.
Goku sighed.
I hope we'll find something. As unearned as this would feel, I don't think we've really got much of a choice anymore.
And he was right, Goku. They did not have a choice. And as soon as they arrived in front of the Cave of Darkness in the Land of Ice, it really lived up to its name. As threatening as it seemed, it surely wasn't more terrifying than King Piccolo had demonstrated for himself. And whatever they would have encountered there, well, they are going to face it together. Meanwhile, the Demon King was triumphant. Not only this foolish Jiangxi-looking child had failed to stop him and paid for it with his own life, he also was young again, facing the eternal dragon Shenron. This, after all, was his wish, to return him to the prime of his life. He had to admit that vaporizing that child was almost a shame, as he really might have been able to appreciate a good little schemer, but alas, nothing would stand in his way. As he was admiring his new physique, Shenron then spoke out once more.
Is that all?
There was a sense of dominance, but also a sense of like, I want to get the heck out of here from the dragon. That was a really rare occurrence.
Oh yes, one more thing.
King Piccolo smiled widely, as his own voice regained a youthful urge. Then he started to quickly charge a mouth blast, and that sealed the fate of Shenron. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now.